You ever looked into a woman's eyes and felt something deeper than words, a silence louder than any confession? Most men don't. Most men are blind to what's right in front of them. They chase words, they chase validation, but they never learn to read energy. A woman's true desires are never spoken, they're shown. You'll never find them in what she says, but in the way her body betrays her calm. When a woman is drawn to you, when that spark of attraction turns into something darker, more primal, her body begins to tell you secrets her lips will never dare to speak. Most men miss it because they're distracted by lust itself. But if you learn to see, truly see, then you'll understand what most men never do. It's not about manipulation. It's not about games. It's about awareness. Because the moment you can read these signs, you'll realize desire isn't loud. It's silent. It's in the glance, the breath, the hesitation before a smile. These are the 3 signs of lust men always miss. Sign naughty eyes that hold too long. There is a language beyond speech, beyond sound, one that speaks through silence, and yet it shakes your soul. The eyes have always been that doorway between the body and the spirit, a place where truth hides in plain sight. When a woman's gaze lingers longer than usual, when she holds your eyes for a second too long, something sacred happens. It's not just attraction, it's vulnerability masters curiosity. Most men don't notice because they're too caught up in trying to impress, too lost in their own noise to feel the message behind her eyes. That lingering gaze is a confession without words. It's the spark of desire, the flicker of fear, and the whisper of I see you. The truth is, eyes never lie. They tell stories even when lips remain sealed. Every glance that lasts a little longer than it should is a bridge, one built from longing, hesitation, and courage all at once. Her eyes reveal the war between restraint and desire. You can see it in the slight dilation of her pupils, in the way her focus drifts back to you even when she pretends not to notice. She may be surrounded by people, noise, and distraction, but her gaze always finds its way back to you. It's a magnetic pull written by nature itself. That unspoken moment of connection is electric. It's the body's honest reaction to attraction. A woman's eyes will hold your truth before her words ever dare to. You'll know it because you'll feel it, like an invisible current between 2 souls trying to stay composed while fire burns quietly beneath. Most men miss it because they're not trained to see. Society has taught men to chase validation, not to sense connection. They look for smiles, compliments, or text messages, but they never study silence. Yet it's in that silence where everything real happens. When her eyes meet yours and linger, it's as if time slows for just a breath. That moment is a message encrypted by nature, one that only those with awareness can read. Think of it like reading poetry. You don't understand it with logic, you feel it. A man who can see through that language isn't just confident, he's calm. He knows how to read emotion without needing noise. That's where strength lies, not in chasing, but noticing. History has shown how the gaze can shape destiny. Take the example of Socrates, the philosopher who taught not through writing, but through presence. His student Alcibiades once said that when Socrates looked at him, it felt as if his soul was being seen naked. That's the power of eyes that hold too long. They strip away the illusion. In that stillness, you're not just seen, you're understood. When a woman looks at you that way, it's not always about lust. It's about curiosity turning into connection, an emotional gravity pulling her closer to your essence. She's not admiring what you wear or what you say. She's drawn to what your energy feels like. This gaze can change everything because it speaks to something ancient inside both of you. It awakens instinct. A woman's lingering eyes are her body's way of saying, I'm trying to understand you beyond words. And if you've ever experienced that look, you know it's unforgettable. It makes you feel powerful, but also grounded, desired, yet peaceful. It's not the look of someone playing a game. It's the look of someone who's fighting one. His desire is never calm. It's storm hidden beneath stillness, and her eyes are where it leaks through. Men who recognize this don't react with arrogance. They respond with awareness. When she holds your eyes too long, it's not by chance, it's a risk. Every prolonged gaze is a confession disguised as confidence. You'll see her blink slower, breathe softer, as if caught between wanting to stay and fearing she's been seen too much. That's what makes it beautiful. It's the balance of power and surrender. You can't fake that moment. It's nature's truth, a small rebellion against the mind's control. The man who notices doesn't rush, doesn't boast, he simply observes, understanding that some of the most powerful words ever spoken are never said aloud. That's where emotional intelligence separates the strong from the ordinary. It's easy to overlook because we live in a world that moves too fast. Everyone's scrolling, talking, performing, but no one is seeing. Yet one lingering glance can tell you more about desire than 1,000 compliments ever could. Her eyes won't hold yours because she has to. They do because they want to. And once you learn to recognize that, you'll stop chasing noise and start understanding silence. Every great connection begins in that silence. The pause before a smile, the breath before a word, the gaze that holds too long. It's the universe's oldest form of communication, and it's still the most honest one left. Sign 2, the voice that softens. There's something powerful about the sound of a voice when emotion starts to take control. You can tell when words are no longer just words, when they begin to tremble under the weight of feeling. When a woman's voice softens around you, it's not simply a change in tone, it's a revelation. Her guard begins to lower, her energy shifts from strength to surrender, and her sentences turn into melodies that carry meaning beyond language. It's her body's way of saying, "You make me feel safe." Most men don't recognize this because they listen to respond, not to understand. They hear words but miss the rhythm, the gentleness, the hesitation that reveals what she's truly feeling. The soft voice isn't weakness, it's trust. It's the space between her heart and her logic. It's where her emotions whisper, "You matter more than I want to admit." And in that whisper, you can hear everything that she's too afraid to say aloud. When a woman speaks to you in that tone, the world slows down without your permission. Her laughter becomes warmer, her pauses longer, and her words carry a kind of tenderness that doesn't exist in her conversations with anyone else. It's not about flirting or charm, it's about energy. The voice is the soul's reflection. It changes when it feels connection. That softness is instinctive, ancient, and beautifully human. You can notice it in the quiet moments. When she talks about something simple, yet her tone sounds like she's trying to preserve the moment forever. It's as if her voice becomes a bridge between thought and emotion. Most men overlook this because they expect love to shout, but real affection always whispers. It's the same phenomenon poets and dreamers have written about for centuries, the transformation of voice when the heart feels understood. The sound becomes lighter but deeper at the same time. She doesn't rush her words because she wants you to feel them, not just hear them. That softness is not just attraction, it's vulnerability wrapped in courage. She's not performing, she's revealing. A man who listens beyond words can hear the unspoken emotion, the small tremor that means she's nervous, the quiet smile that hides behind her syllables. That's where real connection lives. It's not found in conversation, but in cadence. Not in the sentence, but in the silence between them. There's a story about a painter named Aveline who fell in love with a blind musician during the war. He never saw her face, but he said her voice was the most beautiful thing he had ever known. It sounded like light, he once said. Every day as the bombs fell outside, she would read him poetry in that same soft tone. It wasn't what she said that healed him, it was how she said it. Her voice carried calm through chaos, comfort through fear, love through silence. When the war ended and they were separated, he spent his life composing music, inspired by the sound of her voice, not her words. That's what a softened voice does. It becomes eternal. It leaves an echo in the soul that never fades. It proves that emotion, when expressed through softness, holds more strength than any scream of passion. When a woman's tone changes around you, it's her heart trying to speak before her mind interferes. That softness means she feels safe, respected, and seen. It's not a performance, it's a response to presence. You've made her feel something she can't describe. The energy between two people doesn't always need explanation. It's felt through frequency, through tone, through vibration. Men who truly listen become unforgettable, not because they say the right things, but because they hear what others ignore. When she speaks softly, she's letting you into her quiet world, the part of her that hides behind strength. That is not the voice of desire alone. It's the sound of trust unfolding in real time. This softening of voice has existed in every great love story, in every timeless connection between souls. It's why Cleopatra's voice was said to captivate Caesar without her needing to command. It's why poets like Rumi wrote that love speaks in a voice that only the heart can hear. Because when words fall short, tone becomes the truth. The gentle inflection, the way her sentences drift into pauses, it all reveals emotion that words can't define. That's how nature designed intimacy, to be subtle, not loud. A woman's soft voice is the sound of her armor falling, her essence rising. It's a language few men learn to translate, but those who do never mistake it for coincidence. They recognize it as a sacred sign of connection. When you experience it, you don't just hear softness, you feel it resonate in your chest. It's calming yet consuming. It makes you want to protect her, to understand her, to stay present in that moment. Her soft voice becomes an atmosphere, an emotional frequency that wraps around both of you. It's where words lose meaning, but emotion gains power. A woman who speaks to you with a softened voice isn't trying to impress you, she's allowing herself to be. And that is the purest form of attraction there is. Because in a world where everyone shouts to be heard, her quietness becomes louder than anything else. Sign 3, the subtle touch of connection. There are moments in life when words fail, but presence speaks. The smallest gestures, an accidental brush of the hand, a light touch on the arm, the closeness that lingers a second longer than necessary, can carry more emotion than any declaration ever could. When a woman is drawn to you, her body begins to express what her mind still hesitates to confess. That subtle touch is her soul's whisper. It's not deliberate or planned, it's instinct, pure and unfiltered. Most men overlook it because they chase the obvious. They seek boldness when desire often hides in gentleness. That brush of skin isn't a coincidence. It's her body remembering connection, remembering that attraction doesn't always need words. As one great mind once said, what is essential is invisible to the eye. That's the truth about touch. It reveals what sight can't. Every small movement, every unconscious lean toward you tells a story. When she sits close enough that her shoulder grazes yours, when she stands beside you and doesn't pull away, it's not mere comfort, it's communication. Her touch becomes a silent bridge between uncertainty and desire. In that moment, the world fades and only presence remains. The warmth of contact breaks barriers that conversation could never cross. She may laugh, talk, or pretend it means nothing, but her body betrays her calm. That closeness is a pulse of honesty, her heart reaching for something real before her mind reminds her to hide it. The body never lies, said one philosopher, and that's where truth lives, in movement, not speech. That subtle touch isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's as small as her fingers brushing your sleeve, or the way she leans in when she speaks, just close enough for her breath to touch your skin. It's not about the action. It's about the intention hidden beneath it. Every time her body finds yours in space, it's a signal written in the oldest language on Earth. You can't fake that kind of authenticity. When it happens, the energy shifts, the air thickens, and something deep within both of you knows. She's not just standing near you, she's allowing her guard to drop. That nearness says, I trust you enough to be this close. It's a kind of vulnerability that words would only weaken if spoken aloud. Touch has always been the truest form of human connection. It's the first language we ever learn and the last one we ever forget. When her hand lingers on yours or her fingers graze your shoulder, her body is saying, I feel you. It's not always desire, it can be curiosity, safety, or even admiration, but it's always emotional. The power of touch is that it transcends logic. It reaches straight into the nervous system, bypassing thought entirely. That's why the lightest contact can make your heart race or silence your mind. It's the body's natural response to recognition when one soul senses another. As one poet once wrote, we touch heaven when we lay our hands on a human body. That truth is timeless. You see, in a world obsessed with noise and performance, genuine touch is rare. People talk endlessly, but few connect silently. When a woman chooses to touch, even briefly, it's her way of grounding emotion in reality. She's not seeking reaction, she's expressing connection. The warmth of her skin against yours is her truth, breaking through hesitation. It's the most ancient form of saying, I'm here with you in this moment. The subtlety makes it powerful because what's understated holds more meaning than what's exaggerated. When you learn to read those moments, you stop chasing signs and start feeling them. That's the difference between attention and awareness. The subtle touch also reveals timing. It doesn't happen randomly. It arrives in moments when energy aligns, when the world falls quiet and the air thickens between two people. It's often brief, but unforgettable. That small spark, that fleeting warmth, carries an emotional charge that no words could deliver. It's her way of giving a piece of herself without risking rejection. It's courage wrapped in softness. That's why it feels sacred, why it stays with you long after the moment ends. Because in that touch, she's not trying to own you. She's trying to understand what it feels like to be close to something real. Most men misunderstand touch because they see it as invitation rather than revelation. But true connection doesn't ask for more. It simply is. The touch is not a request, it's a truth. It's the human heart reaching out to say, I recognize you. And that's what separates those who merely interact from those who truly connect. The subtle touch is proof that emotion is physical, that the soul doesn't need language to speak. When you understand this, you'll realize that every brush of her hand, every lean closer, every shared breath is more than just contact. It's communication between two energies that, for a brief moment, found the same rhythm. Every glance, every tone, every touch tells a story that words can never fully capture. The truth about attraction, desire, and connection is that it doesn't shout, it whispers. It lives in the spaces between moments, in the silence between sentences, in the stillness where two souls recognize each other, the eyes that hold too long, the voice that softens, the subtle touch of connection. These are not coincidences. They are nature's quiet signatures, the body's ancient way of revealing emotion before the mind can hide it. Most people move too fast to notice them. They're distracted by surface, chasing validation instead of awareness. But those who learn to see, to listen, to feel, they begin to understand what real connection is made of. It's not about control, it's about consciousness. When you learn to read these signs, you stop searching for meaning and start recognizing truth. You begin to see that the most powerful exchanges between people often happen without a single word. The real magic of human connection doesn't come from what's said, it comes from what's felt. Every genuine gaze, every softened word, every subtle touch is a reflection of energy, trust, and emotion intertwined. The moment you become aware of this language, you stop mistaking silence for emptiness and start seeing it as depth. So pay attention to the unseen. Listen not just to what is spoken, but to what is felt. Let your awareness rise above noise, and you'll begin to understand the unspoken truth of human emotion. The kind that changes you, humbles you, and connects you. Because when you finally learn to notice what others ignore, life becomes deeper, richer, and far more real. Thank you for listening. Stay aware, stay grounded, and may life reward your silence with wisdom. God bless you.